Can I fix these aspect ratios? Because those black bars are going to be irritating. Oh, there's subtitles. Gosh, yeah. It's just going to annoy the crap out of me.
Hello, fellow traveler. Did you lose the trail? Come, have a seat by the fire. This is no night to be wandering these woods alone. You see, this is a special night, one rarely seen. Let me tell you a story to make the hours pass. One not many know of, and even fewer believe to be real. What do you see in this piece of stone? Yes, it is small, not much to look at, and to most, not of any particular use. Yet it is not of irrelevance to the story that I am about to share with you. You see, every 100 years or so, a strange event occurs. As the days grow short and the nights long, a night darker than others ensues. It is said that when the moon leaves the sky, as darkness envelops the land and the stars awaken, you can hear the sounds of being rarely seen. And if one lingers in the dark shadows waiting for sight to return, things that any other night would seem to be one thing appear to be another. It was during a night like this that a small, in the scope of the world, insignificant creature with no name was born.
What is this place?
The insignificant creature without a name wondered as it emerged from the ground and began to explore the dark world. The stones were too heavy for the small creature to move.
What was I doing below those stones?
The creature wondered, standing next to the hole it just crawled out of.
Well, with the look of it, you're actually dead.
In the middle of the clearing, there was a mound of stones that seemed to have concealed something. Stuck between the stones were two branches tied together to form a cross. On the ground there was a wooden bowl filled with what used to be flowers of vibrant colors, most likely gathered and forgotten long ago.
Ah, stupid cheer system. You're in the way. Okay. I can't see your message because the stupid cheer system's in the way. Oh well.
The small creature looked at the old forgotten plants.
I wonder if they ever got the chance to be appreciated for their beauty.
Hello, Gothini.
The small creature carefully picked up the bowl along with the dried fruit.
And how you been? Apparently this is called Unknotted. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name, but one of my Norwegian friends says in Swedish this is called Unknotted.
There was a small spring in the clearing reflecting the night sky. In the middle of the spring you could see the reflection of a large star. Something about this star seemed different from the others around it.
What a beautiful place!
The small, insignificant creature thought to itself, admiring the reflected glow of the stars. The creature tried to collect some of the cold water, but was unable to keep the elusive liquid in its hands.
Well, unfortunately, I can't tell you anything about it.
As As the small creature explored its surroundings, tiny drops of rain began to fall from the dark sky.
Okay, so we got runes that do something.
The sky had a strange feeling to it that night, almost as if the stars themselves had come to life, trying their hardest to make up for the absence of the moon's glow.
All I can tell you is a game based on a Swedish folktale.
In the middle of the field there stood a rugged scarecrow, seemingly looking up into the starlit sky.
I just hate the fact being its aspect ratio can't be changed.
It is believed that circles of mushrooms spring up when owls appear to join one another in dance. If an unlucky man or woman should join them in their dance, they would find that time passes faster within the owl circle, and years may go by while they are engrossed in a few moments of joyful dance. A large stone could often be found at the center of owl circles. How they got there, no one seemed to know. In some of the stones there were holes, said to be surrounded by strange symbols. These holes could be used to summon and gain boons from Alvor by presenting them with a gift. On the other hand, if the offering was not to their liking, the boon would instead turn into misfortune.
But also, this guy crawled out of a grave.
On the ground there was an old grinding stone, partially buried in the dirt.
So it might be
looked
fitting.
like been left there a long time ago. The small creature barely managed to pick up the heavy grinding stone.
Yeah. That hole underneath the grave, that's where he crawled out of.
At the edge of the woods there was another circle of mushrooms, seemingly too small to dance in. Some believe that certain Alv circles hold the power to transport Alvor and people alike across vast distances. Hello? Suddenly, as the small creature stood silently next to the large stone, Beautiful glowing beings joined in dance appeared out of the darkness. The creature beheld them in awe before they, just as quickly as they appeared, vanished into thin air, seemingly unaware of the small creature who so longed to reach out to them.
So Alvor are fairies.
In the circle laid a pile of bones. The creature searched the ground for anything useful. Amongst the shattered bones, one piece seemed to be sharper than the others.
Do I look like this on the inside?
The small creature wondered, looking hard at the bones, trying to make out their original positions. As the small creature moved closer to the fireplace, it could feel a faint warmth emanating from the coals. Even though the fire had been put out, the coals seemed too hot to touch.
The artistic style is quite interesting.
A pair of wooden cartwheels had been partially buried in mud over the years. The cartwheels were buried too deep for the small creature to pull them out of the ground.
The runes are going to catch me. That's probably what's going to slow me up on this one.
The top part of the shaft had been broken and was barely attached to the rest of the tool, now unusable for working the fields. As the small creature touched it, the top part of the shaft easily came off.
I'm having to ask one. I'm having to ask one of my Norwegian friends to explain half this stuff.
So what exactly is it you're wondering about?
I found something called an alv stone, and they were talking about Alvor, and then there's different types of runes. I figured out one was water. I think it's earth, water, fire, air. I'm not sure.
The white is air.
That's what I assumed it.
I mean, it's just the elements.
And furry, long-nosed creature that comes out of a grave, born on a moonless night. I have no idea.
I forget what
Next
they're
to the
called, but
shed
it's.
laid a
I think that's
pile
just
of
a
moist,
Swedish thing,
old
which means I haven't
firewood.
really had much to do with, stories about them.
Yeah, well, this is based on a Swedish
The
folktale.
moist firewood was of no use to the small creature.
The game's apparently based on a Swedish folktale.
There was an old piece
Yeah, I
of
got
cloth
that the first
lying
time.
on the ground, seemingly being used as
Hang
a
on.
doormat.
I'll look up what it is.
I want to try and avoid that. Hello?
Hey! An angry voice emanated from the shed as the creature was about to pick up the piece
Oh,
of
more for
cloth
my
laying
own
on the
sake,
ground.
really.
I found that. If you want it, you'll just have to bring me something else that I can use.
Godstorm... Okay, I'm not even going to try. How do you pronounce the name of this game?
An
Goldstumpton.
old guardstomp appeared to have made the shed his
See,
home.
that's
A guardstomp is a being that tends to the farmer's land and
Yeah.
tools, watching over the daily activities on the farm to make sure that nothing bad befalls it or its inhabitants.
Oh, what were they called?
the what?
I'm trying to remember the German one of these. They're a... not a goblin, they're a...
Hello?
The small creature said politely.
Who are you?
Yeah,
The guard
that's
stomped
the
and looked
Swedish
at the
version, which
creature.
apparently
I'm
was
the one who
a
looks after
big
this
thing.
place. No simple task.
Huge
mind you.
creature.
The master of the farm
But
hasn't been
the
tending
Norwegian
for land
and
enough
I
this
think
season,
Danish
so
version
I have
too,
to make up for his
they're
stupidity
just
by working
tiny
myself
little
to the
things.
bone. The guard stomped
Like,
muttered
the
in a
literal
stern yet
translation
slightly proud voice.
is Farm
You're
Santa.
a small one, aren't you? I haven't seen something like you before. Where did you come from? The small creature looked at the guard stomped.
I'm not sure. I remember waking up beneath a stone mound, and as I crawled out, the first thing I saw was the stars. Do you know why I'm here?
And the Norwegian version isn't
Asked hopefully.
very benign.
I
It's
see.
one of those,
Beneath the old stone mound.
it
Guard stopped
might
appeared to remember something.
fuck you over
Quiet
if it has the
for a moment
chance.
Before continuing. No, I'm afraid I don't know why you were born into this place, little one. Nor do I think there is truly a place for you here at the
Which
farm.
is why
You
people
should look
left
for a
out
place of
porridge
your own
in their,
elsewhere.
barns.
Small
Every
creature
Christmas.
hung its head for a moment after hearing the guardstomp's response. Don't fret, little one.
I'm
You'll
going to
find
struggle
your
with some of
way
these
to
names.
this world, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
This farm
But which
has
is why
simply
the,
never
in
been that
in
place.
Scandinavia, tradition is porridge at Christmas.
How do you actually pronounce the name of this game? Oknytt?
Oknytt.
Oknytt.
Oknytt. The O is just as in not. Something that isn't something.
So I've got to
In
appease
this
this
case,
guard
it's-
stunt to get a piece of rag off of him for some reason.
Gosh, tomten, yeah. Yeah.
I am liking the art style.
It is very Scandinavian. It really is.
The small creature was reluctant to crawl.
Especially
into a
that
pitch
creature
black
that you're
hole.
actually controlling.
I'm guessing that it has something to do with death.
From the sounds of it, yeah. But like I said, I'm pretty sure that's specifically a Swedish creature.
Yeah.
So, I don't know it too well.
I,
But
I'm
it's definitely in this time. That's for sure.
I'm just taking a wild guess because it came out of a grave.
Are you sure it came out of a grave? Did they specifically say a grave?
No, it's a mound of stones with a hole at the bottom with a crucifix resting on top of it. So it looks like a grave. It looked like a 16th century grave where you would place stones on top of it to mark it and put a crucifix on it.
No, we didn't do that. We just buried people, and that was it. Just a headstone. You'd have to go way back to find that, and by that time there were crucifixes on top of it.
What sort of thing would you offer an alva?
It's a very good question.
No, that's not how it happened. No.
But you
no,
haven't met
that's
one
not
yet.
how it happened.
I can see them, I think, if I go to the air aspect. See, this is why I think they're fairies.
Suddenly, as the small creature stood silently next to the large stone, beautiful glowing beings joined in dance.
Unless they're not the
appeared
alva.
Out of the darkness, the creature beheld them in awe before they, just as quickly as they appeared, vanished into thin air, seemingly unaware of the small
Don't think so.
creature who so long to reach out to them?
Because they're fairies. Unless the elves are a lot bigger than...
Well, they're usually interchangeable with the Norwegian Oknytt. They, yeah, the Scandinavian folklore doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Like
No,
as in,
that's
it's
not
not
how
consistent with itself. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Different languages, different dialects.
It's very hard to translate something to comprehend something. To actually comprehend something, you need to actually understand the language.
Oh no, the languages and dialects are close enough that it doesn't matter. Like Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian could just be different dialects of each other. But it's more. Some of the connotations you have with certain words might be a little different.
I was more talking about me for...
Oh yeah. Why don't you light that fireplace?
The warmth emanating from the coals had almost faded when something seemed to reignite them. The small creature watched.
It didn't do anything.
The warmth.
See, I activate the rune and then it shuts down, or I can turn the rain on. Hello?
I'm still here.
No! I used the earth rune and then something popped out of the ground. The air rune makes leaves fall. Okay, on the field, the earth rune does what?
As the small creature walked across the field, stalks began to sprout from the wet soil.
So it might be an elemental being of some sort. Keep the rain on.
Not really a thing in Scandinavian folklore. The elemental stuff.
Earth, air, fire, water, that's why...
An emphasis on it.
I assumed as much. These runes are gonna mess with me. That's...
The
Oh,
small creature managed to pick up a handful of oats off the stalks. There were no...
it's the same thing with the last adventure game I played. It was the shape-shifting caterpillar that stuffed me up for some of the puzzles.
There was an old kettle covered in dirt laying on the ground. The small creature tried to brush some of the dirt off as it picked up the old kettle.
Okay, a... Hustomton. I guess these are like the Gustonton, except they're a house one.
In the far corner of the dark room sat an old Hustompt, stroking his long grey beard. These household deities guard the farmers' homes, keeping any unpleasant beings at bay while watching over the daily chores involved in running the household. As the creature approached the corner of the room, a grumpy voice emanated from the darkness.
Who are you to enter my home uninvited? If you came to steal, know that a meager creature like you would be no match for me.
In the dark corner sat an old Hustompt, staring at the creature.
Please forgive me.
The small creature responded anxiously.
I didn't mean to disturb you. I was simply curious about this place. I'm lost, you see.
The Hustunt looked at the creature for quite a while before breaking the silence.
Well, you certainly don't look capable enough to be the thieving kind.
He muttered to himself.
But if I find that you conspired with him to steal my hat, you will be sorry you revealed yourself to me.
The Hustunt became quiet for a while, seemingly calming down.
Although perhaps I could be persuaded to part with a couple of my belongings in return for something to calm my hunger.
That's what the oats are for.
After all, most of these items have been gathering dust down here for as long as I can remember. But don't bring me anything fancy. I don't like brown nosing. Anything that will take care of my growling stomach will do.
The small creature picked up the sewing needle with care, making sure not to hurt itself.
Okay. Oats. Thanks for telling me about the porridge. That's going to make this a bit easier.
How so?
I just have to feed a Hustonton, and now that I've got oats,
Think of it as
Hustonton.
as the.
This is going to throw me up.
Creature filled the kettle to the brim.
It's
with
literally
cold
the same
water.
thing as house. Just say it in the Canadian way.
A Hustonton.
And it is already specific, so no need for A or E.
So you don't actually pronounce it as a Hustonton, it's just Hustonton.
Who's Thompson?
God.
The small creature
That is
hung the
the
water-filled
specific
kettle
of it.
above the fireplace.
The EN ending is specific. It serves the same purpose as A or the in English.
The water inside No. The small creature
See, in my mind, I would have been trying to make bread because I turned on a mill. But when you told me about the porridge, easy.
You sure didn't hurry now,
There
did
you
you?
go.
the Hustunt muttered.
Were you planning on letting me wait all night after I let you take my belongings?
Yeah, just
small
keep in mind that
creature looked
Scandinavian
at the
folklore
floor.
is
Well, no matter, this will stave off the hunger.
not too
The
kind
Hustunt
to
brought a
humans.
spoon out from under his thick beard and began to eat.
Not at all.
Since you've already helped yourself to
Have
some
to
of
be
my
afraid of
objects,
everything,
I hardly
basically.
think the reward should be necessary.
Because it makes
The
sense
small
in a
creature hung its head
climate
as the
that
Hustunt
do
put
want-
another spoonful
does want to
into his
kill you.
mouth.
Fine.
every stat,
Here,
but, you know.
I borrowed this from the wretched one. I have no use for it, so you might as well take it. Now go away.
As the
And don't
Hustunt
trust
filled
anything.
the spoon once more, a long strand of thick silver hair came off and landed on the ground.
I
in
wonder if you're
front
gonna
of the
say,
small
see who-
creature, who saw no harm in
I have
picking
no
it up.
idea. That's
It's a beautiful person, like human being, but with a tail.
interesting. A
Don't
whetstone.
trust them. Basically, those guys you don't want to trust at all. Actually, Might not have
In the remains of the
anything
old
to say
crate,
for you.
the small creature found a ball of yarn.
Well, I've got a ball of yarn, a whetstone, and a needle, and a silver hair.
Ah, you need to do something with the needle and the hair.
No, the needle worked with the ball of yarn, but
Huh. Odd. Usually in the fairy tales, it's something to do with sewing with silver hair.
actually the silver hair goes with the shaft, and actually looks like it makes a fishing rod. It's like a
But yeah,
silver.
I don't know what the obsession with silver hair is in Scandinavian folklore, but if it ever mentions it, there's something going on with it.
No. No.
Dude, it's an eye.
It's like to do with a scarecrow.
Yeah, you gotta put something for the eye. Duh. Silly Aussies.
But I haven't got anything to go through it yet, so I don't know what that's for. I wonder if it's something to do with the cloth. I need the whetstone with. Are the Gudstaunton a unholy one, or would he be referring to something else?
Sorry, what?
Is that what I think it is? The guard stomped exclaimed as the
got it.
small creature approached him. Is that my whetstone? Where did you find it? I don't even remember the last time I saw it. The guard stomped let out a sigh of relief. Thank you for
So the
finding it
Hastaunton
for me,
and the
little one.
Gudstaunton don't like each other.
My old worn-down tools have been the only thing standing
Again,
in the
common
way of
theme.
me bringing this farm back on its feet. The guard
Again,
stomped
common
rummaged
theme.
around inside the shed.
Nothing likes anything.
I'm afraid I can't find much of a reward for
And
you.
those
This old hammer
Tomte.
shaft is of good quality,
And
but I
those
seem to have
little
misplaced the metal head.
big things in
I
Swedish.
can't understand how I managed to lose these things.
Yeah, they don't like anything at all.
Scratched
Ever.
his forehead
No
as
one.
he handed the hammer
I sort of
shaft
guessed
to
the
small
Hastaunton didn't like
creature.
anyone, but the Gudstaunton seems a bit more pleasant.
Perhaps you can find a use for
It does
little
seem a
one.
bit more pleasant
I'm
than
sorry
Swedish,
I
that's for
can't
sure.
offer you a better reward.
But the Hastaunton didn't seem pleasant at all.
Nope.
Hey! An angry voice emanated.
Because they're just a pest, basically. Whereas the farm one, they actually do help. As long as you give them offerings. Appease them and they will be helpful.
This one seemed a bit grumpy, but he seemed fine.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you be grumpy with looking like that? Come on.
Actually, it was more the fact being the farmer is a lazy bastard. Okay, I've got a shard of a piece of bone, dried flowers, ball of yarn with a needle, silver hair attached to a shaft, and now I've got a hammer shaft.
No.
Interesting collection.
I need to give the Gudstaunton something so I can get that piece of cloth off of him. And there's a hole in the side of this Alvstone that I can put something into. And if I put fire into it, it ignites. By the look of it.
Try the silver thing. Hang on. Do the...
No, that's not how it happened.
Do the fire one again.
It lights up the runes for a split second.
Yeah, that's what I'm just want to see. Nah, doesn't mean anything.
I'm really liking the game though. Even though I have no idea how to pronounce half the stuff. I just have a Swedish person doesn't come through and get insulted by my horrible attempt at making the words sound.
Howdy.
How are you going, bloke? I needed an expert in Swedish to actually help me with some of the words.
And another goddamn ad.
The small creature thought about taking one of the mushrooms, but they didn't look all that tasty.
Have a go on, Goss. Thanks for dropping in and thanks for the sub. Earth, when I do Earth, something happens with the mushrooms.
Sorry, what was that?
When I use Earth, something happens with the mushrooms. Air shows the, for lack of a better word, fairies.
Try using something on the circle of mushrooms. Oh, actually, no, the silver hair in the pond. Like, for actual fishing.
No, that's
No, that
Air summons
Well,
dragonfly.
How can you be sure that nothing happened when he's standing so far away from it?
No, it didn't happen that way. It's not that nothing happened, it's just it didn't happen that way.
Yeah. It's an interesting little game, though.
It's going to be the runes that catch me. That's where I know I'm going to get caught up in it. My here, I think, knows exactly what's happening, but he's not telling me because he knows that I'm suffering to understand.
Not saying anything.
reaching into the hole, the small creature felt something flat, round and hard. As it removed the object from the hole, it saw that it was an old coin.
Okay. An old iron coin.
Want to keep hold of that.
Huh? Why? What's the old iron coin good for?
Protection. Some of these mythological creatures in Scandinavian folklore are deathly allergic to old iron.
There were no more.
Oh, sometimes I can figure this out logically. Here we go. I think I upset the scarecrow.
Used the sharp piece of bone to cut the stitches that held the cloth in place. The scarecrow sprung to life, quietly watching its visitor. In the middle of the field,
Hello?
the small creature uttered nervously, but the scarecrow remained silent.
What do you mean, a living scarecrow is a good or a bad thing in Scandinavia?
Something that's not supposed to be alive comes to life? What do you think?
Bad.
Would this be enough to replace the cloth?
The small creature asked as it presented the hay to the guard stomped.
Hey, well, I suppose
I'll try that.
use that instead. I only found this piece of cloth the other night while keeping an eye on the field, but it's already becoming too dirty to wipe my feet on.
The guard stomped responded as he handed the dirty piece of cloth to the small creature.
Maybe you can find some other use for it.
So who's using the cloth as a doormat? A hat. Could you try the needle on that? Nope. Okay, I've just made a hat.
Ooh, actually, try the coin on the silver hair thing.
First I'm going to try the coin on the eye of the scarecrow. No. Okay. Silver hair? No. Try a hat on the scarecrow. Why would I want a hat for? Oh no, Grumpy Beard wanted a hat.
Who stomped them?
That one.
My hat? He had it, didn't he? That wretched thief.
The Hustumpt put the hat on his head and made a sigh of relief.
There, that's how things should be.
The Hustumpt looked at the small creature.
I suppose you want something for this, even though you've already taken my things.
The Hustumpt said grumpily as the small creature's eyes seemed to grow a little bigger.
Oh, good bloke. I'll be uploading this
I
onto my
found
YouTube.
This hammerhead while
It's
I was
interesting.
looking for my hat. It's missing its shaft, so I don't know what use you would have for it. But the difficulty of a task should determine the reward, don't you agree?
Okay, now I can make a fishing. Now let's try the coin. Nope. Well, I've got a silver-haired fishing rod with a hook. I upload most of the adventure games I do. I will take care of that later. I'm just trying to concentrate on...
It's just Beamsy Boy on...
Using the fish
Just Beamsy.
just made, the small creature was
Oh, I
able
thought
to
it was
reach
Beamsy Boy.
the large
No, I
hairy
dropped the boy
stump
because I don't need to have it there.
spring.
It's just Beamsy,
As
which
the
is what I
star's
prefer.
flow broke the surface of the water, an old gold bracelet took its place.
Okay, I've now got a gold bracelet to go with the.
Try giving the bracelet to the little shiny creatures.
That's where I was going to try now.
Or in the circle of mushrooms. Either one.
Ah, so there's what.
As the small creature put the golden bracelet into the hole, a larger alva appeared sitting on the stone. This alva was more beautiful than anything the creature could have imagined, with white glowing hair flowing over the rough surface of the stone.
Yeah,
and
I'll
a
send it through
shining
Steam
silver
later.
crown on her head. More beautiful than all other elves.
Go on, talk to
The
her.
elf queen had appeared on top of the large stone, calmly observing the small creature. The small creature's humbled words broke the silence.
Hello. I don't want to disturb you, beautiful queen, but if you would allow me but a few moments of watching your people dance, I would be most content. I don't know where else to go, as I don't know where I belong in this world.
The elf queen remained silent, yet seemingly not displeased by the presence of the small creature. As the dance continued, the creature watched the glowing beings in silence, entranced by their beauty. Suddenly, in a chanting voice soft as a whisper, the elf queen spoke. Her words were not of this world, and even though the creature could not understand them, it felt their power within its small body. As the owl queen started to fade along with her dancing owlvor, the smaller circle of mushrooms began to glow, as if responding to her enchanting voice.
Ah, so now I've got some sort of fairy portal.
As the creature faded from the circle, it felt as if reappearing someplace else, leaving the farmlands far behind. Yet the creature was saddened, for even though the beings inhabiting the farm might not have given it the kindest of welcomes into this world, it had felt like a small part of their existence, recognized as a being, albeit an insignificant one, of its own. Now, as the small creature once more began to explore its unfamiliar surroundings,
Hey, Cookie.
it felt alone.
Don't mind me, I'm rather confused.
Men vad för helvete? Va?
Yes, this is a point-and-click game, but it's based on a
Below
Swedish
the
folktale.
elf tree, there was a stone inscribed with
Fan är det
strange
svenskt.
runes.
You're a horrible person, Maya.
Vad säger du? Varför är jag så? Va?
The small creature had reappeared in another circle of mushrooms, much like the one the creature had entered not long ago.
It's fascinating, actually.
A tree, old and robust, was standing at the edge of the lake. Along the bark there were peculiar rune inscriptions.
So we've got a rune-marked tree, a sacrifice stone, a lake.
The lake was still, its dark water silently reflecting the foreboding tree line.
This does... Okay, there's something hiding behind the tree. Long nose, humanoid, bald, and glowing eyes.
Troll. All of the supernatural creatures in Scandinavian folklore have some kind of eye thing going on.
And I'm currently watching bubbles going across the lake whenever I use the water ring. It just loops. Yeah. Okay, the sacrifice, whatever I put on top of that, puts a rune on it, actually does
The
that.
mouldy stick had suddenly been set aflame and quickly burned to a crisp. All that remained was a pile of ash and a small piece of the charred stick. The creature picked up the charred stick.
And there's more Alva.
A group of Alvor had suddenly appeared up in the tree's canopy.
Just call them elves.
Fairies for...
No, but the literal translation is elves.
I don't know why the literal translation is, but because they're more fairies.
Different folklores.
Yes.
This
The
surely is a
modern
beautiful
word for
place.
fairies didn't
But
exist.
why did the
I don't
elf
think when
queen
this
send
was
me
a thing.
here?
The creature wondered as it looked out across the glimmering lake, doubting that
The
there would be a
Scandinavian
place
word
for
for
someone
fairies,
such as
maybe.
it
The modern
along
word
its
for-
shores.
Yeah, well, fairies and pixies are actually an older one for my neck of the woods. They're the Celts.
Mhm.
The small creature lifted the ring and let it fall down again with a thud. A post with an iron ring mounted on it was sticking up from the ground.
I'm guessing that's going to raise a bridge of some sort.
A glass bottle was floating on the lake, not giving in to the small
It's more
waves'
like a net.
attempts to bring it to shore.
Yeah, fishing net. There you go.
Okay, a stone one makes a creepy noise. Okay, what the fuck? A Natkin.
Sorry, what?
Nakan is a
Nakan.
being that is said to dwell
Fairly-
within the
fairly
deepest
close.
lakes and rivers of the land. Lone travelers have been known
They want
to
people
hear
out in
his
the water.
ominous song as they take a moment to rest at the water's edge. If they find themselves listening to his enchanting melody for too long, a strange urge to join him in the dark water instills itself in the unlucky traveler.
So it's another one of those drowning creatures.
Yep, pretty much.
It's just a wee bit creepy, so I'm going to see if I can get rid of it. Nope, it's stuck there.
As the creature opened its mouth to introduce itself,
Try talking to it.
Nakan began to speak. Why, hello there, little one. Who might you be? Nakan said with a charming smile. The creature began, but Nakan
Just don't trust
quickly
it.
interrupted.
That's-
Aren't
yeah.
you a
Rule number
talkative
one.
little one?
I already don't
Small
trust it, though. It's just sort of...
But Nakan interrupted once more. Is there anything you can do besides staring like an imbecile?
it's also quite insulting.
Continued, now with a snide smirk on his face. Just stare at me. Stare like those pesky Alvor swirling around in the trees with their magic, flaunting their melodies as if they think them to be better than mine. Preposterous. The lake is my domain, and mine alone. If only I could leave the water, I might be able to get a hold of their secrets, Nakan muttered as he stroked his chin in thought. Anyway, my problems with the Alvor are none of your business. Why don't you use your tiny little feet and skip away out of my sight, like a little bunny? Hop, hop, Nacken exclaimed, making a waving gesture towards the small creature.
He's very dismissive.
No.
From what they described,
The
I thought he was
small
actually going to
creature
entrance.
reached out and grabbed the strange plants.
Okay, there was something with these with the fire, so let's see what happens when I sacrifice them. Oh, it's a fishing net, it's not actually a...
After getting entangled in the fishing net for a while, the small creature finally
I thought it was an
managed to
underwater
pick it
bridge.
up.
And that might have something to do with the last area where those bubbles were.
Or you can try and throw the net to the bottle. I don't know.
No.
I'll try that after I've tried voting this thing.
The small creature placed the bulrush pods on the stone. As the bulrush began to smolder, a trail of smoke emerged and began its journey towards the sky. As the Alvor started to cough from the thick smoke, a thin trail of alv dust fell from one of them, forming a small pile on the ground.
So basically I was a little bastard to them to get fairy dust.
The small creature managed to scoop up the glowing pile of alv dust.
I haven't done any of the fishing yet, Cookie. I haven't even finished the base yet, so I'll get stuck into that later. Let's see if that makes... And I'm guessing... Oh god, now he's glowing.
The small creature poured the glowing alv dust into the lake.
This feeling, I can feel them, their power coursing through me.
Maybe you aren't as useless as I thought.
Here's a bottle for your troubles.
I'm sure you can use it for whatever it is you do, Nacken said with a sarcastic look.
You may still be able to prove yourself slightly competent. Get me one of their melodies. I want to see for myself just what makes their songs so captivating. Your reward will be greater next time.
So how does the Nacken decide who he wants to drown?
It just drowns people.
Well, he seems rather disinterested in drowning the small creature.
People.
Ah.
Humans. Specifically people resting at his shore.
So we've got a Nat Ramen.
The Natrum is
Natrum.
always moving from place to place, searching for something not visible to normalize, unable to rest until it has found what it is looking for. Taking the shape of a raven, it can only be seen during these darkest of nights, spreading its black wings across the sky.
Good or bad? Because it's...
Try giving it something shiny.
I haven't got anything shiny, so I'll just talk to it.
Hello?
Don't you have a coin?
The small
an
creature
iron
said
coin.
as loud as it could, trying to get the attention
enough,
of the
is it?
Natram up on the tree branch.
Well, it's missing its right eye,
Missing
so...
its right eye, the Natram had to turn its head to see the creature.
Who are you?
The small creature asked politely, even
Look at the
though
shrews.
Natram hadn't
I know,
responded
they're
to
looking
its
at me and it
greeting.
just...
The Natram twitched its head back and forth to be able to study the creature thoroughly. Then it started to speak.
Yes, yes, I can see your past. You are a very helpful creature. Kind, yes. Risen from the grave.
So I was right.
Yes. But the future, I cannot see. No, no. The future lies within the right eye. Yes, the right eye will tell you what is about to come. Once the right eye is back in the void, the future will reveal itself before your very eyes, yes.
The Natram called out, clacking with its beak.
So the Natrum has two eyes, one for the past, one for the future. And I was right. It's just this guy's a familiar that was raised from the grave.
Red toadstools had sprung up from the ground.
Oh, an
In
old
the
well.
clearing, there was a long since dried up well. As the small creature touched one of the stones, a few pebbles rocked loose and fell into the well. No.
Well, the coin didn't do anything with the Natrum.
Can't
A
help but
hollow
notice you
ash
didn't
tree,
try and speak
dead
to the
and
well.
colourless, was standing near
Oh.
the well.
It looks depleted. I wonder if there could be something down there.
The small creature said, as it peered down into the emptiness. A hollow ash tree, dead and colourless, was standing near the well.
Hey, Goo.
With just a faint touch,
Hey,
the
Cunha.
bark cracked and fell down into the small
Hello,
creature's
Una.
hand.
Well, I could always use the net as a landing. So that works. Yeah, I've got a landing net.
Or rather, a ladder.
Same thing, basically, but yeah. Okay, we've got a shovel. What the hell? Okay, I'm getting out of here.
After much effort, the small creature managed to pull the shovel out.
Is that why you wanted me to talk to it?
I knew there was going to be something in the well that wanted to talk.
I'll
Did
go
you
back
not
down and
try
talk to it.
the guy?
I didn't try any of the runes, okay. Stone does a slug, which leaves...
The adhesive mucus was too sticky for the creature to carry in its hands. In its escape, the snail had left a
Bottle it
thin
up for
trail
later.
Ah,
of mucus on the...
No. Okay, water leaks out of the barrel, that's it.
But how about you try and dry it up with the paper?
Okay, there's something wrong with the old tree. Blank paper? Snail mucus. No.
Oh.
Air. The Nacrum gets a bit upset. It's meant to be dark. This is meant to be the darkest night in 100 years. Why do I have this bad feeling about this? It's a
Because it's
Bruns.
Scandinavian folklore. That's why you have a bad feeling about this.
It's a Brunsgoven or something.
It's
Brunscuba
a
are
well.
guardian deities who reside in deep wells, making sure that the water is
Gubbe.
clean and
It's
drinkable.
a
They
word for an
also
old
keep
man.
an eye out for curious children, chasing them away to prevent them falling down into the wells. A Brunscuba is usually not a particularly evil creature, but if its well gets polluted, the Brunscuba's anger knows no boundaries. As the small creature reached the bottom of the well, it was welcomed by two glaring eyes staring at it suspiciously.
Hello?
The small creature said, meeting the eyes' glaring gaze. The pair of eyes kept staring at the creature as if they were waiting for something. The creature could feel the eyes burrowing into it like daggers and began to look around the well to avoid the eyes' penetrating gaze.
You have a very nice home down here in the well.
The small creature said in an attempt to get the one on the wall to talk. Without having blinked once, the eyes were still maintaining their intense stare. After a moment of silence, the Brunscuba started to speak.
Well, aren't you going to say anything? You barge into my home, uninvited I might add, and you don't even have the manners to introduce yourself. Who do you think you are?
I did introduce myself.
The small creature mumbled, hurt by the Brunscuba's harsh accusation.
Not a day goes by without someone new falling down into my well. All you do is stare at me. It's rude, that's what it is. You think it's good manners to
So he's
just come
deaf.
down here and do as you please? Where are the gifts? The knock on the lid and the water? Where is my damn water? I'm not much of a guardian with nothing to guard now, am I?
The Brunscuba muttered as he inspected the creature.
Can you hear me?
The small creature asked cautiously.
Bah, this one doesn't
So
even
he wants water.
understand it has by far.
I think he wants
overstayed its
water and
welcome.
ability to hear.
Brunscuba said to himself with a sigh.
Are they deaf when there's no
Come back
water?
when you've got something to say. You're a real eyesore.
I don't think he can hear me very well.
The small creature thought to itself as it glanced at the Brunscuba, still maintaining his terrifying gaze while mumbling to himself.
I'm guessing that means old man of the well.
Pretty much.
Just going on what you said and the way he behaves. So,
Yeah, I was translating the word. It's well old man is the translation, but yeah.
Old man of the well would be the way we say it.
Yeah, you would say it that way. That's true.
Okay.
Try giving him some water, maybe that will help.
Yeah. Like I said, these runes are going to keep catching me up because I keep forgetting about them. The water, it just comes in and seeps away again. There's no use.
I wasn't talking about that. Oh, actually, that might help. Didn't you get a shovel?
Yeah, when I dug the shovel out, that's what the hole is from.
Yeah. Can you use the shovel on that hole?
No, there's nothing to interactive. He's got some sort of heart of fire. When I use the earth, it makes him grow and shrink. It just makes one of the stones fall down. There's another place to go, so I'll try in there. A hollow shell.
A hollow shell was lying on the ground. The small creature picked up the mysterious shell.
Oh, that poor elf.
She doesn't... Not a very heavy pixie.
Doesn't look like
A
it,
row
no.
of nettles was blocking the
Poor
small
thing.
creature's path.
Or it's a trap.
With the help of the shovel, the small creature managed to remove a large enough section of the nettles for it to pass through.
I wonder what aspect of death this thing represents. Because obviously it has something to do with...
Death is death. In Scandinavian folklore, it's
A
just death.
branch covered in
That's all.
berries came loose as the creature grasped it with its hand.
This one's wingless.
A beautiful wingless alva sat alone on a stone near the lake
Oh,
with
ooh.
her head slumping down.
Hello there. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
The small creature said anxiously as it approached the alva on the stone, hoping that she would not turn away at the sight of it. The alva slowly looked up at the creature as she wiped away a tear rolling down her chin.
What's the matter?
The small creature asked as it tilted its head in wonder. The alva gave the creature a sad look before turning round to expose her wingless back.
I see.
The small creature said.
Please don't cry. Perhaps I can help you. Don't worry.
The alva clutched her hands together and looked at the creature with pleading eyes.
I might be in over my head this time. I hope I can keep my promise.
The creature thought as it slowly walked away.
Do the alva lose the ability to communicate without wings?
They don't speak any language you can understand either way. You've already seen this.
Ah,
If it's not
with the
too
queen.
much trouble, do you think
Yeah.
you could share your beautiful song with me?
The small creature asked nervously. The wingless alva's face lit up for a moment, giving the creature a slight nod before writing down the notes on the paper.
Earth makes a bush rustle. Water alva cries some more. Fire lights the alva up. And what does air do?
The small creature quietly listened as the wingless alva began to sing a sad, enchanting melody while looking towards the dark sky.
So I need to find some way to give her wings back.
Well, you know that you'll get something for giving the song to Necken.
God, I think he might have stolen the wings.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
I've never met someone as beautiful as her, but still she appears so sad.
The creature looked down at its tiny hands.
If there is some way for me to make her smile, I want to find it.
I'm guessing there's something to do with catching this Neko, because he's going to probably... Okay. I still don't trust this thing. It looks like a rotting corpse.
Why don't you come out
It is.
in the water and give it to me? It's a little cold, yes. But once you're
water
in,
corpse.
that feeling will soon go away.
Now he wants to drown me.
Trust me, Nacken said with an encouraging smile.
I think I have to come up with another way to give this to him.
The small creature thought to itself
Okay, that's where
as
that
it
comes in.
stood on the shore looking out over the dark lake.
Well, that's probably what the bark's for.
Huh?
A bark boat. And wind?
Now, this is surprising. I didn't
Yay.
actually think you could obtain something like this, Nakan said, seemingly impressed by the melody written on the note sheet. Very well. I suppose you have earned somewhat of a reward. Look into the shallow water at your feet. There should be something suitable buried in the sand. As the creature searched the bottom, it found a large mussel.
A large
Now
vessel.
I don't have time for you
course.
anymore. With this melody and my ability, I'll be able to surpass all others. As Nakan disappeared into the murky water, a subtle violin could be heard stemming from the depths of the lake.
So how do I open it?
Oh, you've already picked it up.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Huh.
Of course I have to open it.
Iron thing, the ring. On the ground there.
Oh yeah, that... I forgot that. Nutcracker.
Using
much.
the iron ring, the creature was able to break the mussel. As it shattered, a gleaming pearl was revealed. The creature reached down and picked
Try and
up
fill
the
the
exposed
bottle
pearl.
with water while you're there.
For the old man of the well.
Yeah.
Nope. But I think the Natrum wants an eye. There we go.
The void has been closed, and once again the coming times are mine to behold.
The Natrum croaked as it stared into the distance.
Your future is dark, yes, tumbling down into nothingness. The darkness swallows you whole, yes. There is more, crumbling, yes, crumbling, and then a light shining through the darkness. Escape quickly, escape the darkness, or it will swallow you once again.
The Natrum went silent as it once again stared into the distance. As the Natrum finished its foretelling of the small creature's fate, it spread its wings and flew away over the trees, bringing the conversation to an abrupt end. During its departure, the Natrum had shook off two of its black feathers that slowly fell to the ground.
Oh, that's how you get.
Maybe I can use these
That's
to
convenient.
help the sad out.
Well, I've got the sticky slime.
Said,
Sticky slime
watching
on.
the Natrum's silhouette grow smaller and smaller before disappearing amongst the treetops.
And shells do the sound of the ocean, so I'll try that with the old man.
Using the sticky mucus, the creature was able to glue together the two feathers.
Yes, perhaps this will do.
It thought, proud of its creation.
It though.
Huh?
Yes, perhaps this will do. It though.
But
That's
this...
what the captions were saying.
Ah.
They forgot a T.
Can you hear me now?
The small creature asked as it placed the shell in the Brunskuber's ear.
Not what I expected.
What?
The Brunskuber's fierce stare
that's-
disappeared abruptly upon
that
the
actually works.
surprising discovery.
That's not what I was
I
expecting.
haven't had any visitors speaking to me in a long time.
I thought it was meant to
Very
be the sound of the
well.
ocean for
Manners
water.
is a rare thing these days. I suppose you could have one of the gifts I've been given over the years. Cherish it like I have, and you will surely find it useful one day.
I will. Thank you.
The small creature said with a humble bow.
Oh, so he's just a grumpy old man that couldn't hear. That's his problem.
Yep.
Some sort of muddy tablet. But
you go. Wings.
the small creature said cheerfully, and held out its creation. The alva gave the two feathers glued together by the snail mucus a doubtful look.
Try them on.
The small creature exclaimed. The alva stood up and tried to put the wings on her back, but they just fell to the ground. They were simply too heavy.
I'm sorry. I will bring you something else.
The small
Okay,
creature
I was wrong.
stuttered, its face turning slightly red. The alva let out a disappointed sigh and once more sat down on the stone, resting her head in her tiny hands.
The toadstools are spreading rapidly. If nothing is done, they'll cover both me and my well. Stop them, I beg you.
The broomscooper let out a calm sigh at the sight of the nettles.
That should do the trick, at least for a while.
The broomscooper looked at the creature.
You need to escape this place. You can't stay here. The toadstools will soon engulf this part of the forest. Hurry! Flee while you still can.
What's his problem with toadstools?
They're poisonous.
Only if you eat them.
You clearly didn't actually pay attention when you looked at the description of it, of the guy. If the well is poisoned.
Ah!
Yeah.
As the creature turned around, it noticed the increasing amount of ominous toadstools beginning to move
Are
a bit
those
too
berries?
close for comfort.
Yeah, I've got some sort of berry.
Heeding the broomscooper's warning, it decided to find a way to leave the lake.
The sad Alva.
The small creature suddenly remembered.
Without wings, she won't be able to escape by herself.
So they're actually alive. Okay.
The hag was tenderly staring her hot concoction, only stopping briefly to look up at her scrawny younglings. In her hand she held the wingless alva, ominously dangling her back and forth beside the large cauldron. The hag prefers to build her nest on top of tall mountains, spreading her vile magic throughout the surrounding areas, infecting plant and creature alike. If you happen to come upon one of her minions, be wary not to get caught, as they will surely bring you before her. The creature filled the bottle with a fresh batch of the hag's colorful brew.
I wouldn't say it's scary, it's weird though.
As the creature fed the warm brew to the squeaking chick, it coughed up a decomposing part of a previous meal. Upon being fed, the chick quietened down, and a content look came over its previously agitated face. Meanwhile, the creature took the opportunity to quickly grab the smelly ingredient off of the ground.
It's more because it's just a hag. This creates an earthquake of some sort. Water is disgusting. Fire sparks the cauldron, and air doesn't do squat. So they're vegetarians of some sort, if I look at it. Which doesn't make sense. Got sweet fruit. What do you give me? An oily onion. Oh!
As the fire blazed, sparks from the embers landed on the hag's foot, igniting the flammable brew. Aggravated by the burn, she quickly released the wingless Alva from her clutch, turning her attention towards the small creature.
I'd better hurry.
It exclaimed, feeling the hag's rage building.
So the hags are not actually a witch, they're a creature.
The creature saw its chance,
They're a
and
creature,
with the
yeah.
tiny being on its shoulder,
But
tumbled down
they
into the
do
safety of the
practice
mountain.
magic.
As their eyes slowly became accustomed to the darkness, a massive cave opened up before them. The creature beheld it in silence for a while, before remembering its new acquaintance.
Are you all right?
It asked. The Alva gave the creature a faint smile, removing a couple of pebbles from her fragile hands.
At least she won't be able to get us down here. Why do you think she was so interested in you?
The Alva tilted her head, apparently as puzzled as the small creature.
Well, no matter now. I guess we need to explore these caves for another exit.
The creature said.
I still have a promise to keep, don't I?
The wingless Alva looked up at the creature, her glow slightly more vibrant than before.
Any idea what this small creature is?
The small creature picked up the twig, thinking it might be of some use.
Not really. Note the foot. There's a glass shard in it.
It's a foot-shaped rock.
The creature didn't want to risk cutting itself on the glass shard.
So, twig?
No.
No. Fire does the glass shard. Water does what? Nothing here. Earth? Another earthquake.
A large
Yeah, no,
rock
that's not
shaped
a rock.
like a foot was sticking up from the cave floor.
I guess I have to find something to pull that glass shard out of the foot. Some sort of troll, or...
As they walked through the dark tunnels, the creature turned to the Alva.
I'm sorry you were taken from your home at the lake. I don't know if I could find my way back there.
It said with an apologetic look, but the Alva didn't seem saddened. In fact, she appeared to glow brighter than before, if only by a little. A thick root had violently burst through the wall.
There's some sort of runes on the root. And we got bats. Grufrun. I have no idea. Dried up river? Venom.
It's 2 words. It's mine, as in, yeah, where you dig, and miss.
Hey, you, Sticky Fingers.
Well, not
Quit
miss,
skulking
but,
in the shadows and move over to the smelter so I can see you.
Female, woman.
Okay.
Oh, I see. A couple of new Sticky Fingers made their way into my mountain.
From atop a chest next to the smelter, a crouching Svartalv was glaring at the small creature.
A Svartalv?
Friend.
I shall make it simple enough for your tiny minds. Since this mine belongs to me now, I decided not to give you anything at all. So go
It's a
away.
black
I've
elf.
got enough sneaky Sticky Fingers to keep an eye on already.
The small creature looked at its friend before trying to talk to the Svartalv.
I apologize for carelessly wandering into your home, but we would never take something that someone else values so highly.
The Svartalv frowned.
Of course you wouldn't just decide to take a pleasant walk through the deepest parts of my mountain. Just because I've yet to find any treasure doesn't mean it doesn't belong to me.
The Svartalv reached into his pocket before throwing a small rock at the creature.
There, worthless piece of rock that you can have. There are plenty of those for you in these walls, Sticky Fingers.
You said Old Iron scares them off?
Would this
Some
allow
creature.
me to use the smelter?
The small creature asked. The Svartalv bit into the iron coin before putting it into his pocket.
Look at that, Sticky Fingers. You had something of value after all, and now you don't. Fine, don't pester me anymore. Use the smelter.
Okay, so I just had to pay him for the...
The creature decided to bring the wooden stick with it.
So I'm guessing he's like a cat. Mine, that sort of thing.
Pretty much.
The cast was far too... Underneath one of the blankets, the small creature found an old stringless bow. The pickaxe was...
So you gave me just a rock.
Yeah, like you said, it was useless to him. Worthless. So you got it.
Air seems to pump up the smeltery. Fire makes it spark. Water. Ah, that's what the 5 attacks for. And earth, more earthquake. Ah. And now I've got a pickaxe.
The earthquake had rocked the pickaxe loose, allowing the creature to pick it up.
It had rocked the pickaxe loose.
Hello to the dad jokes. And I can't complain because I don't want to.
Yeah, you do.
So, Grufrun is Mine Woman.
The mistress of the mine.
Ah,
Gruvfrun. Wow, that was terrible. Holy shit. Pretend I said nothing there.
oh god. Earth does. Earth brings up faces.
And she wants to eat yours.
Fire turns on the lights. Is it probably a good thing that she's got her back to me then? I'll go the dried up river.
Not actually familiar with this one.
Get a large boulder. A chasm. Earth brings those things up. Water doesn't do anything. Fire. Air shows a spider. But I've got a pickaxe, so pickaxe on large boulder. No.
No, that's not how it happened.
What do we got? Try a bit of leverage. Water.
The deep chasm had been filled to the brim with water, leading it through the caves.
After Franbo, it's not that scary. That probably done something down here. No, it didn't. So, does she actually eat people's faces and put them in the wall like that?
It was a joke.
Oh.
I can't wait to leave these caves behind us. They're a bit creepy, aren't they?
No,
Do you
like
know of a
I
place
said,
on
I'm
the
not
outside
actually
that
familiar
could
with it.
help you get your wings to grow?
The creature asked. The Alva shrugged her shoulders, looking back at it with big eyes.
Oh well, I'm sure we'll find someone that can tell us what to do.
I don't think she is
Deep within
evil.
the mountain, far away from any
I think
light
she's
of
basically
day,
like
gruff
the
room
farm
lives
one,
by herself.
just looking over the mine.
Miners have been known to catch a glimpse of her in the corner of their eye.
Oh,
Some
she
claim
just
that
helps
she is
guide
showing
them towards
the
ore.
location of large ore veins. Others that she is trying to get them to follow
Or not.
her into the tunnels. If one is to venture into her domain, be mindful of making noise. If disturbed, she is said to bring the perpetrator to the deepest place within the mountain, where the unlucky being slowly turns into stone.
Noise, always hammering, striking the walls, loud, foul beings, strike, it is not theirs to take.
The gruff Rue mumbled to herself, seemingly not noticing the small creature next to her.
Unforgivable, strike, the rock falls, a
Oh,
spell, hide it,
remember
yes.
the
They
foot-shaped rock?
won't leave. Why? They can't see where to strike. This won't do. My love,
For a brief moment, the gruff Rue's voice became soft.
soon he will arrive. No, for him to see me like this, my appearance unsightly, their fault. Strike, then silence. Pristine.
Okay, it's not as creepy as I thought. Hand-shaped rock.
A hand, seemingly made out of stone, had at some point ended up halfway buried in the cave floor.
That sounded a little bit more creepy though.
What sounded a bit more creepy?
The fact that she drags people to the deepest part of the caves and petrifies them, which would explain the foot and the hand I just found.
I'm pretty sure that's a troll.
The vat. Or the...
Oh no, the rocks that shaped like hands and feet.
Well, I found something called a vat.
Vette. It's basically the same as
Vata.
those guys
Dark
in
corner of the chamber,
the farm area.
shaking wildly.
Vette.
They pronounce it as vata.
No.
Who goes there?
So there's two dots over.
Vata wailed as confidently as he could.
Try again.
Who are you?
They pronounce it as vata, that's why.
The small creature said with a troubled brow.
What do you mean you don't know?
The fat Vata said as his fear turned to curiosity.
I only recently found myself in this world. I don't know where I belong.
The creature stated
It's not
sadly.
the correct pronunciation.
That's odd.
The fat Vata said before turning silent, wondering if that was even possible. After a while, the fat Vata seemed to have regained his focus.
Enough of your petty problems. Mine are far more severe, and they just keep adding up. There I was, playing my flute as I was searching this wretched mountain after something to retrieve my and my brother's belongings with when she came running towards me. My music must not have been to her liking, I suppose.
The fat Vata said, looking puzzled as he scratched his head.
If she sees me again, I don't know what she will do to me.
The fat Vata's eyes slowly filled with fear.
Could you help me sneak past her? You can have my flute, and I'm sure my kin will reward you greatly.
I suppose I could,
The small creature responded, even though it was just as afraid as the fat Vata was.
I wonder if it's actually going to revert him back to a normal Vata.
What do you mean normal?
He's currently just a stalactite. Or are they meant to hide like that?
Are you sure that's him?
No, see? That stalagmite is him.
Try using the pickaxe on the glass shard there.
No.
No.
No. That...
Oh, there's... Oh, they are stalagmites. That's...
Brothers,
The fat Vata said happily.
I'm back again. It seems my brothers are disappointed with my efforts.
The fat Vata said with a heavy sigh as he awkwardly took his place beside the tall Vata.
If they are not willing to talk, I guess I will have to find you a reward myself.
The fat Vata muttered as he rummaged around on the floor.
It's not much, but here you go. I'm truly grateful for your help.
Okay, that's weird. So they're actually living stalagmites. Copper wire and a flute.
A box was bobbing calmly on
I mean, the wire
surface
goes
of the
below.
water.
Naturally.
No.
The small creature reached out.
Got a mushy apple. Water drops onto the short Vata. Fire makes their eyes glow creepy. And wind just summons a grasshopper or something. Why do they have to have red glowing eyes? What the hell? What the...
A hedgehog was peeking out from its den, still squinting after being awoken from its sleep. The creature suddenly realized it had...
Hello?
the small creature said nervously. The hedgehog took no notice of the greeting, but the creature could hear a faint growl coming from its stomach.
I guess it's hungry.
The hedgehog quickly snatched the apple out of the small creature's hands and hurried back to its den. In its retreat, it had brushed off a couple of its spines on the ground.
I suppose I could take these with me.
The small creature said, saddened that the hedgehog didn't seem to want to become its friend.
I can make a comb, I think. Yep. Let's see if I can get the Maiden of the Mountain pretty.
The small creature carefully began to comb the Gruffrew's hair, attempting to calm her down.
He
Be
will
right back.
arrive soon.
Preparations, yes. I will welcome him at last. My appearance. What will he see? The Gruffrew seemed slightly more relaxed, letting go of a pair of clamps that she had been frantically grasping.
Well, that's how I can get the glass out of the foot. And she doesn't look so bad now that her hair is straight.
As the Gruffrew's didn't seem to want them anymore, the creature decided to bring the clamps with it.
It's rather disturbing that it's actually red. So you think that's some sort of troll or something? Ah. Ah. That makes sense. Now we have to show her how pretty she is.
Looking into the mirror, the Gruffrew appeared pleased.
I see. Yes, this will do. My love, he will arrive shortly. Too much time being spent hiding what they sought. Striking, hammering. Why? Unnecessary. They are no longer here.
Okay, what did she just do? I'm guessing she had something to do with the root. No. Oh, hello. I was just hiding silver.
A large silver vein, previously hidden from greedy eyes, had appeared in the middle of the cave.
Thief! Sticky fingers, this belongs to me. All of it.
The Svartalv yelled as the small creature moved closer to the silver vein.
Magical, shining, glimmering, wanting me to have it. You shall have nothing.
Ah, so that's what that was for. Now I don't remember which ones it was. sort of horse, comb, and spiral with 2 dots. So we got horse, comb, and spiral with 2 dots.
After the creature had managed to align the correct combination of symbols, it was able to lift the heavy chest lid. Inside, the creature found a sack of fresh food along with an old metal mug.
So I'm robbing him blind of his food and belongings. But I think he actually stole them off them. That's the supplies he was after. Your supplies. There you go.
The beast is back, brother.
The tall Vata whispered cautiously. Remember the plan, the short Vata responded with a clenched jaw.
But it's presenting us with fresh supplies.
The tall Vata mumbled as his mouth began to water. Hush, the beast can do whatever it likes. Be quiet while I try to distract it. The short Vata responded, throwing an old saw blade across the cave. As they turned silent, the small creature carefully picked up the shining object while leaving the supplies beside the stalagmites.
No. Oh, the bow was actually to make it create a saw.
The small creature used the saw it had assembled to cut through the thick root.
Okay, I was expecting to go that way. Now what?
A thick root had violently... No. The creature quietly watched as the thick sap engulfed the rock, coating it in a golden layer, quickly hardening from the cold of the mountain.
Maybe the greedy bastard wants some amber.
I'm back.
Welcome back. The bow was actually to make a saw.
Sweet.
What's that you have there, Sticky Fingers? Wherever did you find this gem?
The Svartal's eyes fixated on the amber.
It's glowing. I need it. Give it to me.
The small creature pondered what to do as the Svartalf continued.
What? Well, how about this? I'll allow you to take a small piece of ore from my silver vein. How does that sound? A small chunk.
What do you say? Before the small creature could answer, the Svartalf quickly put the amber into his pocket. A trade is a trade. Now leave. I've already said you could have a small piece of my silver ore, if you can get it out of the wall, that is. The Svartalf grinned as he kept his hands protectively over his pocket.
Okay, that thing's rather greedy. That one's easy to guess.
Using the pickaxe, the creature managed to chop off a small chunk of silver ore. No. The creature put the small chunk of ore into the hot smelter and waited as thick molten silver poured out from underneath it. The creature carefully filled the dipper to the brim with molten silver. As the creature poured the molten silver into the cast, it cracked, making it possible for the small creature to push it aside. As the cast was removed, a shining silver bell was revealed. The sound of bells, especially ones made out of silver, are said to be horrific to certain evil beings.
So now I've got a silver bell to scare off evil creatures of some sort.
Trying its hardest, the creature managed to pick up the heavy silver bell.
I wonder if I can torment that thing with it.
Probably. Maybe.
No.
How did it go with the mistress in the mountain?
She wanted her hair combed and wanted a mirror to know that she's beautiful to actually release a spell. So now she thinks she's pretty and looking in the mirror waiting for her lover to arrive. She dropped a pair of tongs, that's what I used to get the glass out of the foot. And because it said it was reflective, I tried it on a few things and it actually combined with that twig that I got.
Using the saw, the creature managed to create a hole large enough for it to pass through.
Burger. Oh god, it's another one.
Yes, and
Is it a good or a bad one?
no idea.
It's it's a troll.
Sure even.
It's the guy's head.
In the middle of the chamber, there was a large head half buried in the cave floor. Burgrasaur are dangerous,
Burgrasaur.
enormous beings, long since forgotten by most folk. Long ago, they sought shelter deep within the mountains, remaining in an
So they're
endless
giants.
sleep to shut out the sounds of man.
Are they good or evil?
Good question.
As the sound of the silver bell resonated throughout the cave, the ground began to quake. The previously lifeless Burgress had awoken from his long slumber.
Okay, he's just
enraged
pissed.
by the noise made by the small creature and its friend.
I just pissed it off. I don't think that would be a good idea. Run away.
As the mountain continued to shake by the Burgress's movements, a part of the cave wall began to crumble, falling apart before the small creature's eyes.
Okay, grows roots. Starts at sort of torrent. It does. Ravine, stone door. Well, burial ground. As he came from death, might as well go there. I don't know what that does. Apparently it's doing something.
It's a worm crawling from you to one of the rocks.
Ah, yeah. Good spotting, I didn't see it.
The small creature could feel a strange presence in the marsh, but just as quickly as it appeared, the shape faded once more.
Okay, what the hell is that?
The creature peeled off some of the moist moss.
Oh, let's see if that does any difference. There we go. A bison. Something.
As the creature approached
Angry.
the bison, it opened its eyes, looking around to find the one who had awoken it from its sleep.
Hello?
The small creature said politely as it moved closer to the bison. The bison gave the creature a look of disgust but did not answer.
Who are you?
The creature asked, feeling slightly discomforted. The bison seemed to have lost interest in the creature and looked away. Feeling a slight
make that
tug
thing
on its
appear
ear,
again.
the creature took another look at the bison.
What is that cut on your head? Does it hurt?
It continued,
The other
even
thing.
though the bison hadn't acknowledged its past remarks. The bison's face suddenly filled with anger. Its eyes started to roll in their sockets. Its mouth writhed and twisted with pain.
So I need to actually put something into its head.
I'm so sorry. It must really hurt.
The creature said.
Is there anything I can do to help?
The bison seemed to have calmed down, giving the creature an insensible look before continuing its hysterical tantrum.
We should search for something to heal that grievous wound.
The creature said to the Alva, who responded with a determined nod.
Well, try the roots on the marsh.
Using the thick roots, the creature was able to traverse the foul water. A larger gravestone, more decorated than the others, was lying on one of the small islands.
Let's try. Oh, here we go. There it is.
As the creature placed the dried flowers in the vase, it felt a chilling gust of wind moving across its small body. Out of thin air, a transparent entity appeared, floating above the gravestone.
A light globe. I had to take
A
you.
Lichtgruber
A
is
Lichtgruber.
being that can be seen after
Lichtgruber.
nightfall. Dwelling in swamps
The
and
light man.
marshes, they drift
Or,
through the air,
lantern man.
often with a lit lantern in hand, following the wind currents.
So
between
Will o' the
the
Wisp,
trees.
basically.
Their alluring
Pretty much.
light is said to mislead
Except this is
travelers
a
off
full,
the road and deeper into the
full-on
marshes,
person
far
that's just
away
holding a
from
lantern.
any who would hear their cries for help.
Will o' the Wisp are a lot more complex than that, so I need something to give him a.
Hello! Hello! The Lichtgruber shouted as the creature approached him.
Hello there.
The small creature responded, happy to be welcomed for once. Hello! Where are you? Come back! The Lichtgruber continued, seemingly not taking notice of the small creature.
I'm down here.
The creature said, feeling slightly confused as it waved its little hand to get the Lichtgruber's attention. The Lichtgruber stopped shouting and looked down at the creature. They're all gone. All my friends blew away with the wind. Don't they like me anymore? Why would they leave me? The Lichtgruber sobbed as he covered his face with his shroud. I didn't mean to scare them. I really didn't. You believe me, don't you? The Lichtgruber continued as he regained his composure.
Sure I do. Say, what do your friends look like?
The small creature asked.
Maybe we can help you find them.
Well, they are small and bright looking. They live in my lantern, you see. Without them, I would never be able to find my way through these marshlands, the Lichtgruber said, making a sweeping gesture through the air. Is that one of my friends you have there on your shoulder? You aren't stealing my friends now, are you? The Lichtgruber
What is supposed to be in
asked
his
with a
lantern?
stern and almost threatening voice.
No, this is my friend. She can't fly, so there's no way she could be one of them.
The small creature exclaimed, protecting the Alva with its hand. I see. The Lichtgruber.
So some sort of firefly or anything like that.
Would you at least please take my lantern and keep an eye out for my friends? 5 of them there are. I will remain here in case they should find their way home.
So, are bison normally benevolent or bad?
Never heard of it.
It looks like a cut down tree. Let's try the ravine. Okay, I was about to say it's a snake, but it's called a Vitom. Oh, it's a Wyrum.
Vit orm.
Yeah, it's a Wyrum. I can see its wings.
White snake.
It's difficult to tell the color at night.
Well, translation is white worm or white snake.
Wyrum or worm?
Worm.
With a Y or an O?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm talking about a Wyrum, which is W-Y-R-M.
The Vitom slithers through
Yeah,
the darkest areas
this is
of
the
the land,
translation of the name.
drawn to places
Actually,
of
it
power
would be
where
white
it rests
snake.
to shed its skin. The skin of a Vitom is rumored to retain a strange kind of magical power, and anyone that manages to get their hands on one should be careful not to look into its entrancing glow for too long.
Hello?
The small creature said cautiously, daunted by the terrifying beast before it. The Vitom quickly jerked its head in the direction of the sound, staring into the small creature's eyes as it slowly waggled its head from side to side in a hypnotic fashion. What do we have here? You should know better than to approach me, meat, the Vitom whispered menacingly. I could swallow you and your friend there in just one bite.
I didn't mean to disturb you. We're just trying to find our way through these lands.
The small creature responded, slowly backing away. The Vitom gave the creature a suspicious look, analyzing it from top to bottom. You should consider Consider yourselves lucky my hunger for food is quenched. However, my appetite for riddles is insatiable. You're larger than a mouse, but smaller than a bear. Let's see if your mind matches your size. This one I heard told in times long past. I am reborn amongst my siblings. Together we are one. As I rise, I can see all of them look up at me in my newfound form. I travel together with my brothers and sisters as I fall, crashing down with them on the roof of the world. I slowly make my way down as more of my siblings join me. It is close now. I am reborn. The creature stood silent for a while, deep in thought.
I don't know.
It said with a disheartened look.
Okay.
That one isn't even hard, the Vitorm quickly retorted. Stop wasting my time and get out of my sight before I grow hungry again. Believe me, you don't want to be here when I'm hungry.
I am reborn among my siblings. Together we are one. So he's sort of a...
Wet soil had collapsed, dividing the area in two.
So he's sort of a sphinx crossed with a dragon.
Oh no, those are not dragons.
The Natrum is here again.
Hello? I think we've met before, haven't we?
The small creature asked the Natrum, who was already busy studying it, twitching its head back and forth.
A great ordeal fleeing into the devouring darkness, yes. Many shapes and figures lurking, yes. Ready to assist the darkness. Cannot get out. Sounds echoing from the depths.
The Natrum croaked and went silent for a while. Then, as if it had forgotten something, it continued.
A light, a blinding light, yes. Leading the way out to the open sky. The darkness conquered, sealed away with rocks and stones. Safety!
The Natrum croaked and stared into the distance.
What will happen down the road?
The small creature asked.
Is there a way for us to find what we seek?
The Natrum stared at the creature for quite a while before opening its beak. As it was about to answer, it stopped itself and slowly closed its beak once more.
What's the matter? Is something wrong?
The small creature asked, feeling a chill go down its spine. Once again, the Natrum stared into the distance before turning to the small creature. This time, it spoke.
Unspeakable horror, no. But yes, what is being sought for can be found. A cave. Evil. Wicked. No, nothing remains but unspeakable horror. Nothing remains, no.
The Natrum croaked before suddenly taking off, as if in a hurry, disappearing into the woods below.
Okay, I might be playing an
I
evil
hope
creature.
He's not right this time.
The small creature said to the Alva as they watched the Natrum disappear among the trees.
Is that a foot or
A
teeth?
door that looked to have been created out of solid rock
I think
was
teeth.
sealing off the path into the mountain.
That's what I was thinking. There's a stone plate that...
Okay, so the outer edges is you're controlling what you're moving. No?
Maybe I'll try putting stone. Yes. I'll put that. So these link 2, so I can move 2 or 1.
Helpful.
It can go either way. There. Okay, that doesn't... If I try going this way... No.
Oh, you just have 4 moves.
Oh, that's even sneaky.
See in the top left corner?
Yes, so I got 4 moves to actually rearrange it. Now it makes sense. Now it's going to reset. Yep.
Yeah.
Now it's making sense. Okay. So I can move those 2 at the same time. Rotate. I don't need to move Earth it again.
Wrong way.
Yes. Okay, we'll try going that way. That one's right, that one's right. Now if I go this one, that one goes the correct way. Now if I move you once, and you once, that should be right.
Yay! You did it.
Once you looked at it, it makes sense.
Upon moving through the gate, their eyes still adjusting to the darkness, the pair began to perceive a dim light stemming from the center of the chamber. Lodged in what appeared to be a crudely carved altar was the cup of Sigrin, decorated by etchings telling of acts long forgotten, a golden chalice which corrupts what is poured within it. Yet the pair had no way of knowing this, but simply marveled at its beauty as they remained still for a moment.
I was about to say it would be like the Holy Grail, but it's not.
Would it really be alright for us to take something like this?
The creature looked at the Alva, whose big eyes reflected the cup's glow.
I suppose it's of no use to anyone around here anymore.
It continued, respectfully removing the chalice from the indentation in the altar.
It works almost opposing to the Holy Grail. Instead of cleansing something, it actually corrupts something, which is weird. No, it doesn't do anything, doesn't do anything, doesn't do anything.
A skeleton, much larger than the small creature, was sitting in a dark corner of the cave.
A grim fate.
Okay.
As the creature touched the skeleton, the skull fell off, exposing a burning airbloss.
Oh, that's the...
That must be one of them.
The creature said to the Alva, who responded with a nod.
Where do you think the others might be?
I found one of the things from the lantern. River, thunder, wildfire, tornado, steam, rain, and there's an opening for...
The creature placed the stone tablet into the opening in the wall. As it was put into the opening, the tablet began to glow.
What do you suppose this means?
The small creature asked the Alva, as both of them tried to figure out the strange inscription.
Water. No, ocean.
Flood. They're all natural disasters.
River, thunder, wildfire, tornado, steam, rain. This is ocean.
Lying around the bones was a long rope, all of which looked to be in one piece.
Weird. Tried using the runes in there?
Water opens at river, rain, and steam. Earth makes river glow. It also has tornado and wild. Ah! If I go fire, it shows off the fire in the... I combine two of the runes and they actually light up. That's how that works. Okay, I've got to go remember his riddle. I think it's got something to do with that.
I think you have to get them all lit up in a certain amount of time, or a certain amount of clicks.
So, you want to hear the... I am reborn amongst my siblings. Together, we are one. As I rise, I can see all of them look up at me in my newfound form.
Ocean, steam,
together with my brothers
clouds,
and sisters as I fall,
rain,
crashing down with them
river.
On the roof of the world.
So it's the correct order. It's the water cycle. So, as I am reborn, I am together as the ocean. Then I need to do steam, which is water and air. No, that's rain. I screwed that up. It's water and fire. Then the water comes. Then it's the river, which is water and earth. So I've go water and fire. Water and air. Water and earth. There we go.
As soon as the droplet hit the stone, the cave started to shake, and from a crack in the altar emerged a strange and wondrous plant.
So it's basically just describing the water cycle. What are you?
A strange apparition in the shape of a plant was spreading a calming glow throughout the chamber. The plant reacted as the creature's hand went through the transparent stem, giving off glowing spores in response to its touch. As they filled the air, the alva let out a loud sneeze.
That's how I'm probably going to rescue the thing that's glowing in his gut. If you remember when I was down there, when I did fire, there's one glowing inside him.
As the spores reached the Vitorm's nostrils, it couldn't help but to sneeze, and from its mouth a disoriented earbloss came drifting out. The Vitorm continued sneezing as it slithered away down the ravine, soon disappearing amongst the undergrowth. In its departure, it had left behind a mesmerizing piece of its shed skin.
So I wouldn't say that one's evil, that one's more just a bastard. Hey Myra, I found the Triforce. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
That doesn't do anything. Oh. No, that's...
The creature tied the rope to one of the thicker roots, pulling hard at it to make sure it wouldn't come loose.
Now, hold on tight, and I'll make sure we get down there safely,
It said as the wingless alva nervously grasped its ear.
Well, let's go into the other side. A broken wagon.
Searching through the shattered planks, the creature found a wooden wedge. Just as it was about to turn away from the wagon, the alva tugged on its ear, noticing a faint glimmer beneath its feet.
What beautiful craftsmanship!
The creature exclaimed, brushing aside the tall grass concealing an old necklace. As the starlight made its way down the ravine, something about the necklace seemed strange as the creature studied it. Its shine vaguely different from metals it had previously encountered.
So I'm guessing that wedge is to repair that poor stump thing. Frozen's here, but he hasn't said anything yet. Wedge in the bison.
As the creature struggled for a while to fit the wedge into the hole, the bison's eyes and mouth stood wide open. The creature gave the alva a confused look, but then something happened. The ground started to crumble violently, and with the sound of roots snapping and twigs cracking, the bison rose from the ground. A loud creaking could be heard as it stretched out its arms before looking down at the small creature with the same insensible look as before.
I don't know if
The
this is
creature
evil.
didn't move an inch, and after a while, the bison turned around, marching into the swamp with giant steps, quickly disappearing from sight.
What was all that about?
The small creature asked its friend as they both stared with big eyes after the bison.
So they just look evil. Oh, you enjoy your pistachios. I need to find one more of these things.
A rotten tree, about to collapse at any second, was standing near the edge of the collapsed ground.
Oh, here we go. There's the fifth
By
one.
using all of its strength, the creature managed to topple the rotten tree, creating a bridge to the other side.
That should be all of them.
The creature stated with a sigh of relief.
Perhaps we'll now be able to leave this place.
I actually had to get one of my Norwegian friends into TeamSpeak to help me understand half this crap. It's good, but it's... I don't think it's really set for someone with the mindset of Western folktales.
It is a Western folklore.
Scandinavian.
My dear friend,
Very specific part of
you're
this.
safe with me once more.
The Lichtgruber quickly grabbed the lantern from the small creature's hands.
Oh, thank you for finding them. Is there anything I can do to repay your kindness?
The creature looked at the alva on its shoulder.
Well, we have been searching for something that could help her fly.
The small creature responded.
But so far, we haven't found anything at all.
The Lichtgruber pondered the creature's words for a moment before answering.
I know of a very old place. However, it's not somewhere I would like to take the two of you.
The Lichtgruber shook his head.
It's a frightening place, you see. No longer what it used to be.
And so the Lichtgruber began to lead the odd pair through the marsh. As they traversed the murky waters, the small creature wondered if it had chosen wisely, not so much worrying about itself, but for its fragile friend. Still, it didn't feel discouraged, but glad, relieved that their strenuous search might soon bear fruit.
I might actually cut this up into 5 parts so it could be done through each chapter. Okay.
As the small creature looked around, it could see nothing but tall, dark trees encroaching on the clearing.
Where are we? Is there someone here that might be able to help her?
The Lichtgruber raised his lantern.
This place, it wasn't always like this, you know. Over the years, it has been the destination of many ailing beings in need of help. Not anymore.
It's been corrupted. We shouldn't have come. The Lichtgruber turned his attention towards the trees. Some of them are still here. The creature felt a nervous tug on its ear as it responded.
If you hadn't helped us, we would never have gotten out of the marsh. I don't think we have any choice but to move forward.
The creature looked at its friend before continuing.
If this place used to be as powerful as you said, there has to be someone still here that can help. I will make sure that no harm comes to her.
The creature tried its hardest to sound sure of itself, and its words seemed to calm the Alva down, if only a little. Very well. If there is something that would be of help to you in this place, I hope you find it. Good luck to you both, kind friends. I bid you farewell. The Lichtgruber bowed before slowly fading away as he drifted back towards the marsh.
Don't be sad. Remember how far we've come. We'll find someone that can help you. Just you wait.
The creature said, giving the Alva a gentle pat on her head.
You will finally get your wings.
Why didn't he try and go through the mushroom circle again to talk to the Alder Queen? That's something I would have tried. Deer totem.
A strangely familiar totem, decorated with a deer skull, had been placed at the edge of the woods, spreading a pungent stench throughout the clearing. Partially hidden within the undergrowth, there was an old, scarcely decorated gravestone. The creature began to brush away the dirt from the gravestone, but it didn't appear as if there had been a name inscribed on it. As the creature touched the pungent-smelling horn, it crumbled, turning to dust in its hands.
Okay, what the hell's that?
A mysterious plant had come into bloom and was now spreading its spores throughout the forest.
Just a shadowy being.
When the creature brought its hand closer to the plant, it suddenly released glowing spores into the air. As they landed on the creature's hand, a strange numbness came over the affected skin. A shadowy figure had begun to follow the pair as they traversed the narrow trail, yet for the moment keeping its distance from the small creature.
Why is it following us?
The creature whispered, while the Alva kept her eyes peeled on the dark shape remaining at their backs.
There's a cliff and a campsite.
This place has an unsettling feeling to it.
The small creature whispered as they walked
Got to
through
try
the
the-
abandoned encampment.
Why did they leave all of their belongings behind?
Okay, let's try some sort of so that drifts down, fire. The greystone glows. Okay. Okay, so he's a broken tree.
The carving had suddenly lit up and was now pulsating slowly, giving off a burning light.
So, each of the...
Partially hidden within the An ancient tree was standing by itself at the far edge of the encampment. Throughout the land you might sometimes hear rumors of injured woodsmen sheltering themselves beneath an unusually large tree with strange characteristics. As they rest amongst its roots, they claim that the wounds fade away as if they had never been caused. Learning that one may be cured from any ailment by crawling through the tree's roots, many travel from afar to seek relief, but the woodsmen who claim to have found it never seem to recall its exact location within the woods. One of the tents had at some
he's back
point
again.
collapsed and was laying in the wet grass at the edge of the campsite. The creature picked up the cloth canvas, along with the partially corroded iron post. The small creature picked up the smelly haunch of meat. As the creature poked it,
Hello? Would you mind talking to us for a short while?
the ancient tree barely seemed coherent, the lucidity in his eyes fading between each word.
So tired, must not fall asleep. Help!
That's what the smelling salts are for.
He seems really scared.
The small creature looked at the Alva.
We need to help wake him up.
As the creature blew the smelling salt onto the ancient tree, he quickly recovered from his drowsiness.
Thank you.
He exclaimed in a drawn-out fashion, both eyes wide open.
Thank you both. I almost fell asleep, you know, just like my brothers. You mustn't.
The ancient tree's voice turned mellow as he looked out across the campsite.
None of them wanted to talk to me, so I simply remained silent. Suddenly, it almost took me, the glow. Almost, but you made sure it didn't. That would have been bad, very bad indeed.
The ancient tree sighed.
I wish I could repay you, but unless you're in need of herbal knowledge, I'm afraid I can't offer you much in return. If you should happen to find any herbs you would like me to process, I'd be happy to help.
He said before munching enthusiastically.
Although I would need to rinse this horrible taste from my mouth before I could create a proper mixture. If you're in need of my help, could I first trouble you to find me something scrumptious that will restore my taste buds?
That's where these things probably came in.
Delicious.
The ancient tree exclaimed as he bit into the ripe blackberries.
It's been a long time since I tasted something like this. Good things don't like to grow here anymore, you see. Some beings infect everything they touch.
He muttered.
But no matter.
Enjoy your chicken.
When you need my assistance, come see me again. I should be able to create a proper mixture for you, provided you can find good ingredients in this place.
No. Ah, lightning rod.
As the creature rustled around in the ashes beneath the coals, it found a sooty horseshoe forged from steel. The dark woods, far too dense to travel through, were slowly encroaching on the clearing. Inside the tent, the creature found a thin, slightly bent metal blade.
Kind of getting creeped out by that thing that just swaps sides.
An unfinished totem had been placed at the center of 3 large stones, decorated by various rune carvings.
Is there something over that side? Okay. A glowson. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, Maya?
Not a.
Well, it's got sharp pointy teeth and a wicked smile and red eyes.
The carving had suddenly lit up and was now pulsating.
There's an air statue. No. Try the meter. Oh no. Go back to the flowers at the start. Meat, flowers. No. Okay, I'll try it this way.
What do you suppose that thing is over there? Do you see it?
The creature asked the Alva, who was leaning forward in an attempt to spot the small object.
Well, I got all 4 of the statues. Okay, that actually made me jump.
As they approached it, the Alva's eyes fixed on a particular part of the totem.
Do you like this one?
The creature asked, removing the blunt piece of flint from the totem.
Wow!
The creature quickly took a step back, surprised by the mangy arm that had suddenly appeared from below the cliff.
What the hell? A droog. A draug.
A Draug
Droog.
was once a man who, after passing from this world,
Droog.
turned into a being consumed by its hunger for all that it once had. Approaching its perceived property, carries with it great risks, as stories tell of Draugr, whose grotesque appearance leaves the victim's mind in disarray, causing them to wander the woods aimlessly as they slowly transform into Draugr themselves.
This is they're much nastier, so I can't have the.
The creature didn't have any trouble pulling the thin blade from the moist soil.
Ah, scissors. I thought it was something else. Wooden post. I wonder. Where's my light? There it is. Okay, I just
As the
unchained him.
Draug fled into the woods below, the creature was able to move a bit closer to the cliff's edge. In its escape, a ring had fallen from the Draug's finger, now glimmering in the darkness. The creature held it in its palm while they observed it. It almost appeared as if it had somehow been affected by the power of the sky's lightning. The gem decorating it clearly reflecting the star's light, almost amplifying their glow. The creature marveled at the beautiful plant. Growing along the edge of. As the creature poked the stem of the plant, the bud started to.
So this is what this is probably for.
With a quick snip of the scissors, the large plant fell down in the creature's hand.
And there we go. Make me something
How
tasty.
about these?
The creature asked as it presented the herbs to the tree.
Perfect. These would mix well. One moment, my friends.
The ancient tree cleared his throat before continuing to chew both plants into a thick salve. After chewing for a good while, he continued.
There you are. I hope this will aid you in some way. Be careful with it though. This turned out to be a very potent mixture.
Well, I've got the. I thought as much with meat.
Here you are. It looks very tasty, doesn't it?
The creature presented the haunch of meat before Gloson's frightening jaws. The gluttonous sow quickly sunk her teeth into the smelly flesh, instantly devouring sinew and bone alike. Not satisfied by the meal, she once more turned her attention towards the small creature fidgeting before her.
Good, wasn't it?
The small creature tried as her jaws opened. Then her expression changed, the hungry mouth turning into a wide yawn as she proceeded to rest her head against the moss-covered stone.
So that's the antithesis of
As
gluttony,
she
pretty
fell
much.
into a deep slumber, the thorns emanating from her body retracted from the clearing. The creature smiled, its hands still trembling.
We're getting close. I can feel it.
anthill, which looks like there's a big ant.
The ants didn't seem to mind the creature picking up a handful of the leftover straws. Glowsome, vile and repugnant, is a large sow that dwells in the depths of the forest, her battened body covered in razor-sharp thorns. She may appear either as an omen in places about to be visited by great misfortune, or to prey on travelers walking along the forest's edge. As she runs towards her victim, the thorns on her back are said to grow larger, cutting the unlucky traveler in half as she sprints in between their legs. After she has satisfied her gluttonous urges, she returns to guard her home in the darkest part of the woods.
Oh god, we're going into her home.
As the pair arrived at the deepest part of the forest, an unnerving silence instilled itself in the clearing. Unbeknownst to them, they had arrived at the Copper Gate, a lost doorway to the oldest of mountains, rumored to contain treasures long since hidden from the eyes of men. As they stood there, the faint wind carried with it soft-spoken whispers in a strange tongue throughout the woods, spreading a sense of unease to plant and animal alike.
I'm sure what we need is somewhere around here. This place used to be filled with great power, remember?
The creature said in an attempt to cheer her up. The Alva smiled half-heartedly for a moment before returning to rest behind the creature's ear. A crudely put-together lever of wood and bone was standing near the mountain wall. The creature pulled on the lever with all of its strength, but only the creaking noise of wood grating against wood could be heard. The creature reached out with its dainty little hand and pulled out the chisel, almost falling over as it stumbled backwards to regain its balance from the effort.
It says it's a fire statue, but I can't do anything with it. That does nothing. That turns off the ring, which is helpful.
Didn't you get a thing from that dude? Didn't you get a chain from it? Or was it just the ring?
I just got the ring, a reflecting ring. So I need to make fire. So if I go back to the camp and make a fire there, let's bring the fire back to that thing. Put them on there. No. Fire doesn't do anything with that. Ah, there's something there.
The creature lifted the
So what was that? Oh no, oil. No.
Fire pit.
Oh no, there we go. Flint and tinder with oil. Try the oil on the fireplace.
No.
But you need steel for that. No. No.
Striking the piece of flint against the horseshoe caused tiny sparks to scatter onto the tinder. As it began to smolder, the creature carefully placed it in the fireplace, igniting the branches.
Doesn't do anything yet. Oh, the only thing I got is a metal
As
chisel.
the creature held the chisel amongst the coals, the heat caused it to glow red, retaining the intensity of the
No. That didn't work.
It's a hot chisel.
Need to finish this so it looks like the others. Oh no, it didn't have that. Try that. Okay, now it's a finished
An
totem.
unfinished totem had been placed at the center of 3 large stones, decorated
To the ground.
As the pair silently beheld the totem, a warm energy began to spread from the boulders surrounding it. The radiant light quickly engulfed the clearing, amplified by the Vitorn's magical skin.
Can I do fire? No, I can't. This thing seems to be happy with that. Do you have any idea what that would be?
Huh?
This thing.
No idea.
As the shadowy being didn't seem to mind, the creature and Alva decided to borrow the pages and stone fragment hanging from its waist, hoping to find some sort of clue regarding the strange place they currently found themselves in. However, as they had a closer look, neither of them were able to make out the words scribbled on the torn pages.
Okay. I should have the red and the... I've got the green and the white. Because that would be the white. That means the blue would have to be where that zombie was. There's the green, there's the white. So that would be the red. And that one's active now. Okay, that's done. That's a statue piece, so that's why that didn't work.
After placing the stone fragment, the creature quickly backed away in response to a loud crackling noise emanating from the statue, lasting but a moment before leaving room for the silence to reinstill itself in the clearing.
Now, fire room, there we go. Now I need to, oh, should have got the chain from the post. Oh, wrong way.
The creature's weak arms were unable to pull the chain off of the post.
Well, how am I going to get that?
As the creature held the heated chisel against the base of the chain,
That's
the
how.
iron
Yeah.
slowly began to glow red, allowing it to break the link holding the chain in place.
Now, chain through. Now let's try the lever now.
The creature pulled on.
Nothing.
This should get things moving.
The creature said to the Alva as she emptied the contents of the urn onto the lowest parts of the lever.
That worked. Now what? Let's try that now. Ah, different sounds. So I need to do 1 link to there, 3 links to there, and 2 links to there. Pull that one down. No, I want that one down. Okay, that one comes down. Yep. No, that's 2 links. That one's right. Okay, so I'm very wrong. So I've got 2 right. I need to swap those 2 around. Yep. Yep. Should be right. Yep. And
Nice.
it took a little bit. It's not like a
You got there in
different.
the end.
Yeah. I'm still confused about half the story.
As the odd pair had moved further into the darkness
Okay,
beyond
what the hell have I found
copper
now?
gate, before the small creature's eyes had adjusted to the shadows, the Alva had suddenly been grabbed from its shoulder. A gigantic shape had picked up the helpless Alva and placed her inside a glass sphere strung up from the ceiling. 3 beings slowly emerged from the darkness, who didn't seem at all interested in the small creature standing before them, and appeared to be squabbling with one another.
Look at it. Look at it.
The fat-nosed troll
Oh, they're trolls.
shouted, enthusiastically pointing at the Alva with one of his chubby fingers.
It looks so yummy. Let me chew it a bit and I'll let you two know what it tastes like.
The fat-nosed troll made a guttural sound spouting and drooling saliva as he mustered all his strength in an effort to grab the alva. But the slim-nosed troll quickly gripped the glass sphere with his long, nimble fingers, keeping it out of the fat-nosed troll's reach.
The shiny one is doing fine right here in my ball. I found it. It's mine. Swallowing my shinies will be the last thing you do before I got you like a little fishy. Quack.
Burger Kungan bellowed, immediately bringing the argument to a halt.
I'm thinking.
He then continued, letting out a troubled
Burger
sigh.
Kungan.
Irritated by being
Mountain
interrupted, the slim-nosed troll quickly retorted.
Thinking? That's all you do. We have been sitting here for so long. I don't even know why we came to this place. I say we leave and take the shinies with us.
Burger Kungan slowly turned his head towards the slim-nosed troll, giving him a dreadful glare. The slim-nosed troll responded, with his nose pointing upward.
Do what you want then. Search some more. Go ahead. You'll never find it here. Whatever it is you're looking for. I, however, have that which I desire right here.
He carried on as he gave the glass sphere a mischievous poke, making the alva tumble around inside.
Okay. So we've got Fat Nose Troll, Slim Nose Troll, and
The
Burke.
Mountain King.
Who?
Mountain King.
So this is what it means by in the halls of the Mountain King.
No, that's a different one.
Rumored to be the ruler
That
of all his
that
king,
one is actually
Burger Kungan is the oldest
mistranslated.
troll known to man. He
The
was
in the
birthed
Hall
long
of the Mountain
ago,
King
deep beneath
is
the cold earth,
a
in
specific
halls
mountain
of ice,
it's talking
in a
about.
realm
Yeah, I
of
know.
eternal night. Stories of him have sprung
And
up
it's
in
Norwegian.
generations far parted by time, leaving many convinced as to him possessing the gift of unending life. The few times he has been forced to appear above ground, his sightings have always been preceded by powerful omens, followed by strange mystical effects on the lands.
Okay, let's see what these do. Earth. Oops.
You dummy. Of course you'd go and break it.
The fat-nosed troll exclaimed.
Don't raise your voice to me, you moronic glutton. I found it. I'll break it if I want to.
The slim-nosed troll grunted.
Enough!
Burger Kungan roared.
What's done is done. We all get one piece each of this trivial ball. End of discussion. There are more important things to attend to. I should have thought twice before bringing you two along on this expedition.
The slim-nosed troll mumbled something inaudible in response, bringing the conflict to an end.
Oh, that's gross. Burger Kungan grows purple. Or it glows purple. I like the idea of growing purple.
Sounds like they should go to a doctor with that.
So he can just keep spitting on bile. And there's no more earth. There's an altar. All peace.
Out of curiosity, the creature picked up the strap to have a look at it. Recognizing the fine condition of the leather, it decided to keep it.
Where is the elf?
As soon as the small creature came before him, the fat-nosed troll's fingers had surrounded its body, pinching and squeezing it.
How do you taste, I wonder?
The troll said, drooling as he pressed one of his fingers into the small creature's belly.
Are you filled with delicious fat? Maybe I could use your bones to pick my teeth with.
The troll was not gentle in his examination as he started to pull the creature's snout, trying to figure out the limits of its body.
Please stop. I don't taste good. I can assure you of that.
The creature shouted, causing the troll to release it, dumbfounded by its words.
Well, all right. No need to yell. You seem to be nothing but hair and bones anyway. Not very tasty at all,
he said, dismayed over yet another meal slipping through his fingers. Burger Kungan gave it a stern look as the quivering creature approached him.
What a surprise. A strange little newborn has wandered into our mountain all by itself. Why have you come here, little creature?
Burger Kungan asked, while curiously inspecting the tiny being standing before him.
To help my friend. We have been told this place can give her wings. They are missing.
I really
The
hate how he
creature said
announces
with
that.
determination, gathering all its bravery to not
really
appear
do.
weak.
I can't help
Was
it.
that the shiny little
Yes, you
thing
can.
that fell down into the hole over there? If that's the case, I'm afraid you will never see her again. Burger Kungan chuckled, but quickly returned to his stern voice.
You said you had heard about this place. Tell me what you know.
The creature dared not refuse Burger Kungan's request.
Well, that it once held some sort of ancient power.
The small creature explained in a slow, tentative manner. Burger Kungan sighed in boredom.
Bah! I thought you might be useful, but I suppose it's up to me to figure out the secrets of this place after all. I can't trust these two cretins, and you are no better. Waddle home to where you came from. You will find nothing here, and even if you had, it wouldn't have helped your friend to, what was it? Grow wings? Such stupidity!
Burger Kungan, irritated by the small creature's lack of knowledge, lost interest and returned to examining the cavern.
Okay, stay away from that one. He'll.
The small creature gathered its courage and approached the slim-nosed troll.
Hello?
It said with uncertainty in its voice. This time, noticing the creature, the troll quickly grasped his dagger.
What is this? A filthy little ball of hair straddling towards me. Coming for my shinies, you filthy burglar. Keep your distance, or you'll regret it.
The troll licked the blade's edge with a devious smirk on his face. The small creature stood, frozen in fear, not able to utter a single word in response. Realizing it posed little threat, the troll settled down and turned to his riches as he started to mumble to himself.
Filth, trying to steal my shinies. Too many to hide from prying eyes. Need something smaller, something pleasant to my eyes.
Must be the
Something
necklace.
shiny, yes.
Or the ring.
Probably the ring.
Yeah.
No.
No, not the ring.
That's not how it happened.
Huh.
Because the necklace was actually something
Seeing
different.
the small creature approach from the corner of his eye, the slim-nosed troll quickly turned and snatched the pendant out of its hand.
Ah, I finally found it. I knew a special kind of shiny was around here somewhere.
The troll admired the pendant as he twisted and
I actually
turned
thought it would be
in
the
his
ring.
hands before addressing the small creature reaching for it.
Now let's trade, shall we? I get one thing from you, you get one thing from me.
The troll took out his dagger, pressing it hard between his hand, causing it to bend into a crescent shape before handing it over to the creature. Without another word, the slim-nosed troll turned away, holding his new prized possession in front of his face, occasionally laughing with glee as he stared into the reflective surface of the pendant.
But he wants this thing, which I have no idea what that does.
The small creature held out the ancient writings in its hand, awaiting Burger Kungan's reaction.
Have you found something of use to me, little creature?
He mumbled as he began to rifle through the worn pages. Having been consumed by their contents for quite a while, he suddenly paused, cleared his throat, and read out loud.
Ek, Vok, Hauga.
Ah, one of those fairy portals. No.
As soon as the echo of his words rung out, two large stone plates had moved apart, revealing a large opening in the middle of the cavern.
Ah, you have done well, little creature. This might be the place I seek after all. Go down there and tell me what you see.
Burger Kungan commanded the small creature, who saw its chance to reunite with its friend.
Hello? Are you
I
okay
see
down
your
there?
tail.
I'll figure out a way to help you out. Don't worry.
The small creature
Oh,
reassured
no.
the alva as it started
What?
to explore the new-found cave.
Actually, never mind. It wouldn't be that.
I found a vibrant jewel.
Alva had fallen through one of the many holes in the cave floor.
Let's see what it...
The gemstone was too indented into the rock for the creature to get a firm grasp around it.
Okay, I need something to get a good bit of grip. Nope. No.
No.
Bit dagger.
Luckily for the creature, the dagger had been bent at an angle to slide perfectly into the cavity behind the gemstone. With some endeavor, the gemstone came loose, at the same time causing the dagger to return to its original shape.
Okay, that's creepy.
Totally
Using
not
the
an eye.
old canvas, the creature was able to pick up the hot gemstone.
Okay, that's actually Verhoevenhagen's legs.
Yep.
I thought it was something else. I didn't know he had a tail.
The small creature,
I'm assuming you have
ball
to
of
interact
hair
with it
sitting at the
somehow.
end of Burger Kungan's tail in one hand and the sharp dagger in the other, as it carefully began to cut a few strands at a time until the tuft of hair came off.
Oh, okay. Got shrooms. The old is actually useful. Okay, Raven, I'm not sure what that is. Man, Death, that would be Woman, I think that's Star. That's that tree. Not sure.
The creature was unable to. The Alva had.
Caskets and mushrooms. Oh, from brushing the mushrooms. Runes, idiot. Nope.
Try tickling one of the feet with that brush of yours.
After I've tried out the runes, which do nothing. All I can interact with is the tail.
Wasn't there some kind of interaction you could do with the feet of Mountain King?
No.
No, not like with an item, but with.
No, there's no interaction with the feet.
By carefully dusting around the fossil, the outermost layer of dirt around it came loose and accumulated in the creature's extended hand, revealing a set of bones sticking out from the cave wall.
What the hell is...
With the fossil uncovered and intact, the creature could easily pluck a couple of particularly pointy bones from it. Inside the cave wall, packed between...
Pick that lock.
No.
Well, it's a bone pipe.
The creature was... No.
Unless I could use them or not.
A stone casket, crushed by the weight of the trolls, was barely peeking out beneath the rocks and rubble.
That seems to go... No. Ah, there we go. Medium, long, short.
The creature reached inside the casket and pulled out a dusty
It's
old
funny, 'cause
tome
it's a
bereaved of one of
skeleton
its pages.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring out why I'd need the pipe for, but when you looked at the casket, it actually gave you the
casket.
combination.
Yeah.
As the creature emerged from the hole, it spotted the slim-nosed troll throwing the pendant on the ground, shattering it.
Filthy craftsmen who can't even separate fool's gold from the real thing. If I find them, I shall give them a quick departure from their pathetic existence.
Muttering and cursing, he turned back to rummage around in his treasure pile. The creature once more presented an offering before Burgerkangen. The tome immediately caught his eye, I recognize the runes on this book. It will surely unveil the true secrets of this place. Hand it over. The creature followed his command and gave Burgerkangen the old tome. It appears what I seek is indeed down in that hole. Bring it to me. There should be a way. Take this glass shard. It might be a key part in this. Make haste, little creature. My patience is growing thin.
Interesting. So I've pissed him off somehow. Can I finish that one to get
The
on through?
slim-nosed troll would... As soon as the eye's radiant gaze met the ring, an intense beam of light shot out of the ring's jewel, disappearing into the ceiling. Suddenly, a shriek of agony could be heard from the cavern up above.
I think I've just blinded the long-nosed troll.
My eyes, it burns. How is the wheel of heaven's wrath reaching us here? The slim-nosed troll shrieked, desperately trying to cover his eyes from the ray of light pointed at his face.
Now we need the fat one.
With the troll distracted, the small creature was able to sneak closer and nab the glass shard.
Who goes there?
The slim-nosed troll cried out, as he tried to make out who was approaching him through his fingers.
If even a single shiny is missing, I will find you and turn your skin inside out, you filthy thieves.
Oh, that's the fat one, and he's growing mushrooms everywhere, so let's see if I can do something with that.
The small creature dared not to disturb the hazardous-looking mushrooms.
What do you think?
I have no clue.
It's probably something I had to do with the mushrooms, but I don't know how to poison the guy.
What do you have?
I have some sort of cup and 2 pieces of orb. Oh shoot!
And why is that jewelry on the stalagmite?
Oh, that actually shined up into blinding the long-nosed troll.
Oh, okay.
Feeling the stalagmite's rough surface with its hand, the small creature searched for a beard. Yet
That
did
is
not
a good
find
idea.
Well, it said it was reflective. The water comes down to the mushrooms, which I don't know what it does. Use his spit.
the spit. The small creature bent down and scooped up some of the spit into the cup of Sigrin. Suddenly, the mucus had turned green, and instead of water now flowed a putrid, endless stream of poison liquid. Pouring the putrid contents of the chalice onto the mushrooms caused them to pulsate, letting off a cloud of spores before returning to their slumber.
It's cursed, it's cursed.
The fat-nosed troll chanted.
The hunger, the itching, only bad luck comes my way. Ever since I got this piece of glass, I can find nothing to eat in this damnable place. And now my whole body burns. No more! Be gone with you, foul thing!
He screamed as he hurled his piece of the glass sphere onto the floor, quickly picked up by the small creature.
So now I've got all three of them, so I... Now I put that with the altar.
No. No, that's not how it happened.
What about that eye over there? What's that
It's
about?
close. That eye is what I reflected up into.
Right, okay.
It's got something to do with this altar. Ah, so it's one of those ones.
Oh.
Of course, that governs the day. Oh, I wanted the mine down here. That's death, so we got life and death. Oh, there we go. It was either going to be death or that thing down the bottom, so what exactly does that do for me?
Out of the darkness, a crackling and glowing stone emerged, lighting up the cave with its overwhelming energy as it levitated calmly above the altar.
What do you think I've just found? A-S-K-S-T-E-N.
In the center of the chamber, floating above
That's
the
a-
altar
not an
covered
A.
in rune carvings, was an askstone.
That's an O.
Formed as lightning
Oskstone.
strikes the earth. An askstone.
Thunderstone.
To be infused.
So be a fair bit of cringe because he uses an
Runes
A.
have been used in ancient times to ward off.
He's gonna use this as an A.
thunder, as well as beckoning its rumbling.
Are you alright?
The small creature exclaimed as the Alva emerged from the hole. She responded with a quick nod as she slowly stumbled over to rest on a nearby stone.
Don't you worry. You stay there and regain your strength.
Well, if I did something with this thing, what's that do now? It can do squat.
But what was the thing for lightning again in that other puzzle?
It was the air.
Yeah, the air just got, yeah. Because it wasn't available before.
Oh. Ah, it doesn't do it here.
The creature gave the Alva As the creature got closer, sparks and cracks of lightning
Oh. Okay, now it worked.
I don't know if I've made the right decision, but I feel this is our last chance to get you wings. Let's head up, shall we?
the small creature said to the Alva, who with a hearty nod once more crawled up behind its ear. At last, after all this time, it's within my reach, Burger Kungan proclaimed, looking at the Askston with hungry eyes.
This is what we have been looking for? A stone? A piece of worthless rock?
The slim-nosed troll spouted in anger, yet his words got drowned out by the fat-nosed troll's deep voice.
It must be a special rock, right? What does it do?
Burger Kungan began to explain in a calm, almost threatening voice.
This, my brother, will keep us safe as the wheel in the heavens passes above our heads. It beckons and bends the mind of the dark clouds and the hammering they bring with them.
He turned his attention to the small creature.
Come now, little creature, hand it over to me.
Burger Kungan commanded the small creature, seemingly hesitant to touch the crackling Askston directly himself. The small creature looked at the Alva and then back at Burger Kungan.
No, I will not.
Did you not hear me, little imp? I said, bring it to me! Burger Kungan roared, furious by the creature's refusal.
No, you don't deserve to have it.
The creature yelled without a shred of hesitation.
You dare defy me? I will crush you. I will crush you beneath my feet, and I will take the stone myself.
Dirt under my feet is what you are, after all. Enraged, Burger Kungan began to twist and turn to free himself from the mountain's firm grasp. In his struggle, the cavern began to crumble, light breaking through the cracks forming in the ceiling.
So trolls are evil in Scandinavian.
Yep.
No, not again. The light. Stop moving. The slim-nosed troll exclaimed in panic, yet his words did not reach the Troll King. The creature and Alva paused for a moment to watch as the sunlight turned the trolls into stone before making their way out of the chamber. Passing through the crumbling copper gate, the creature glanced over its shoulder, only to see a cold mountain wall, untouched by being and man alike, casting a calming shadow over the clearing. The weary pair, staggering along the forest path, slowly made their way through the thick brush. As it happened, ending upon a path different than the one that led them there. As they felt the rise of the ground, the dark trees grew less imposing, allowing a wonderful view to greet their arrival at the top of the hill.
How beautiful.
The small creature gasped.
I think I'd like to remain here for a while if you wouldn't mind.
The Alva marveled at the sky as the creature carefully put her down on a slab beside it.
I'm sorry for not being able to help you. I know I promised.
The creature said with sad eyes kept at the muddy ground beneath its feet.
That place wasn't at all what I'd hoped it to be.
After remaining silent for a while, the creature nervously brought its eyes from the ground, greeted by the Alva's beaming smile. For although she could not speak nor fly, her glow appeared brighter than before. As they sat there looking out across the woods, the creature felt at ease, and embraced by the sun's rays breaking through the treetops, it slowly faded as night made way for dawn. The Alva remained, humming a sad melody while looking at the stone now sitting beside her. The song filled the clearing, and as she took the last note, a glowing pair of beautiful wings had appeared on her back. Looking at the stone one last time, eyes filled with gratitude, she then rose from the ground, disappearing amongst the trees' canopies. And that, my friend, is where this story ends.
Now it makes
Make of
sense.
it what you will this darkest of nights, be it truth or myth. I have but shared with you what was long ago told to me in the glow of a fire such as this one. I only hope that you'll take care where you trod this night, for as the story goes, it turns out even a small, in the scope of the world, insignificant creature can be of significance to someone not that significant themselves.
That was actually quite a nice story.
It's a pretty typical story.
What? I would call it typical. It's probably what you're used to.
Scandinavian.
Hmm?
Typical Scandinavian.
Yeah, it's a story with a meaning, not necessarily a happy ending, though.
Yeah, that, again, is very typical of them. A lot of them actually end badly.
I wouldn't say they ended badly. The elf got her
No,
wings,
I'm
and
saying a lot of them end badly.
that sort of whimpered out. That's more of what I'd use to explain it, but it actually had a very powerful meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually pretty good. Well, I've got to go get something done, so I'll be back later, Frozen. I'll catch you later. I'll definitely be streaming later. I just don't know when I'll be back. But anyway, das Vidania.